What's up, Wayfinders, and good morning. It's Lane. I'm so excited for today. This is our last full day in the parks. Tomorrow's gonna be like kind of a weird day because I'm gonna be leaving about mid-afternoon to get on a plane. But today might be the day that I'm excited for the most. I'm always excited to be here. I'm always excited for everything that we get to do every single day. But this is the day I've been waiting for like all week, because today we are heading to Epcot because we have our, look at my shirt, Guardians of the Galaxy pass holder preview today. So Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind opens next week at Epcot, but pass holder previews are this week, and I was able to get one thanks to my mom. Shout out to Dana. Was able to get one for today, so that way I can ride it, test it out, see what it's like before it opens next week. I am pumped. I don't know how it's gonna work. Some people have said they've gotten to ride it multiple times. Some people have said it's only been once, and sometimes because of whatever, some people don't even get to ride it at all. I'll be happy just getting to look at it and see it, but of course I hope I get to ride it, and I hope I get to ride it a few times so I can give you guys a good and honest review of it. But I'm excited for that. And then this evening has probably the dining reservation I've been the most excited for, and we've had some really good food so far this week. But tonight we are going to Jiko at Animal Kingdom Lodge for dinner, and I am so excited. This has not been open for a couple of years now. Actually, it shut down right in the, right when 2020 happened, and it did not reopen until February. Now, I have not been here since the summer of 2019, so I am absolutely pumped to be going back to Jiko to see if it's still as good as I remember, because for a long time, it was my favorite meal I had on property until I had Le Cellier. But I have a feeling Jiko may be able to retake the crown if it's really, really good tonight. So anyways, I'm excited for today. I hope you guys are excited. Let's go on, head over to Epcot, have some fun, and then do our Guardians of the Galaxy preview. I'll see you guys at Epcot. All right, friends, so my check-in time is just around the corner. I'm so excited. It's been very popular today. So there's been a lot of people in line. There have been a lot of people checking in. So I don't know necessarily how this is gonna work. I don't know if it's only gonna be like a one ride and done. Don't know if it's gonna be multiple times. I'll be happy if I just get on it once, of course, but I will let you guys know. I will try. I'm not gonna do, I've seen a lot of people who have vlogged who have actually shown the entire ride. I don't plan on doing that. I'll try to record as much as I can, but I don't plan on doing a ton of things just because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't gotten to ride it yet, especially since it's just the previews right now. I want everybody to get to ride it the first time and actually enjoy themselves. So, but we're about to get in line, get ready. So here we go. All right, friends, so I just got off my Guardians of the Galaxy preview ride, and oh my gosh, y'all, that ride is a ton of fun. Now, a lot of people are asking about intensity. I definitely don't think it's the most intense ride that Disney has ever made. It's not as intense as Mount Everest, and it's not as intense as Rock and Roller Coaster, but it is a lot of fun. I would say, I don't know a good roller coaster to probably compare it to. It might be about at the level of maybe a Big Thunder Mountain-ish type. I don't even know if, I don't know. It's very smooth though. The ride is so smooth. I mean, it flows seamlessly together. The music, we got One Way or Another, I'm gonna get you, I don't know what the actual song's title is, but it was awesome. It fit in really well. The storyline is amazing. the experience of going from the queue with the, you know, just the the exhibits that you walk through to the actual experience of going through the ride itself. It is just absolutely incredible. Now, as for immersiveness, like as comparing this to like Rise of the Resistance, I do think Rise does maybe still have a slight edge in terms of like immersiveness. But man, let me tell you, the storyline that you go through getting onto this ride is just about right underneath Rise level. Now, I personally like this ride more than Rise of the Resistance, and I know that's a big, bold statement to make, but I'm more of a coaster fan myself. And so for me, this is more of my type of speed ride, while Rise is not necessarily a coaster. So I would say if you're a coaster fan like me, you're gonna love this ride. You're going to enjoy it a lot. Now, one quick note. It does move a lot. Like, you are moving constantly. Your vehicle revolves. It's not fast spinning. It's not a super fast spinning ride, but you are moving constantly. So if you are prone to motion sickness, make sure you take the proper precautions when you come to ride it, because it's going to get you if you do not do that. So make sure if you are prone to that kind of stuff that you take care of yourself before riding this ride. But honestly, I've loved it. I've loved the entire experience of being in here. It is just a one and done ride type of day, just because there is a lot of people coming through for this preview day, but that is okay. I'm absolutely fine with that. I loved every second of it. And now I get to go throughout the rest of my Epcot day. And then we're gonna probably park hop here in just a little bit. Probably gonna hit up Hollywood Studios again, just because I haven't been there since we did our Genie Plus challenge, and I just feel like I need to go back for a little bit. And then we're gonna get ready later to go to our Jiko dinner. So lots of stuff still to do, so keep up with us, and here we go. We're gonna keep going with our Epcot day now. All right, my friends, so if you are a fan of the podcast, you know one of our ultimate tips and tricks when it comes to Epcot is to take advantage of the food booths that you're going to find across the different countries, depending, no matter what festival it is, you should go and stop by the booths, because you can actually put together a pretty good meal without having to stop at a quick service or at a sit-down restaurant. And that's exactly what I actually did today. I stopped at the Lotus House, which is in China, and I got the cheesy crab wontons, and then I stopped a little bit further down. I don't know if it was necessarily within a country or not, but there was a booth that has got arepas at it, and I got a arepa with queso fresco on it. And the cheesy wontons were actually really, really good. They were about $8, and so that wasn't too bad. They were really, really nice, super flavorful. I mean, I would go back and get that 10 times out of 10. As for the arepa, it was okay. I don't know if, I've never really had an arepa before, so I don't know if this is just my lack of experience with one or not, but it was very dry. Like I had to have a drink with it. With the wontons, I ate all 3 of mine, and I didn't have like a bottled drink or anything like that, water or anything, and I ate them just fine. But with the arepa, it was very, very dry, and I was like, I'm glad I got Powerade to go with this, because if I didn't, you know, I wasn't going to really be able to eat it. And so I had a good time with it, and I enjoyed my experience eating around the different booths. But again, I knew that a bigger meal was coming, so I wanted to kind of more so snack on a couple of those smaller items and piece them together, rather than sitting down at a quick service or even trying to snag a last second lunch reservation at one of the big ones. After lunch, I did Remy's, just because I didn't really have many other plans. I mean, outside of riding Guardians today, there wasn't really much at Epcot I was there to truly accomplish. Remy's wasn't open for early access this morning, which is why I didn't even do early entry today. But I waited about an hour for it, which, you know, it was fine. I didn't really get to explore much of the queue when I was here in October, because we did the virtual queue, and I kind of just breezed through the line without really stopping. So I got to enjoy the queue. But would I wait an hour again for Remy? Probably not, just because the payoff isn't very much. It's a very fun ride still. I still enjoyed my experience on the ride. Still think it's super immersive. It's a ton of fun. but I would not wait an hour for it for sure. I think that was definitely, but like I said, I had an hour to kill, and so I'm not really stressed about it. Now if you can't tell already, because this lady keeps interrupting me every 5 minutes, I'm on the Skyliner right now. I'm heading over to Hollywood Studios. Wait times are super high there today, so I don't really know what all I'm gonna accomplish. Probably just gonna end up watching a few shows, maybe grabbing a snack or something along the way, but I'm mostly just gonna be there to kind of hang out until it's time to head over to Animal Kingdom Lodge for our dinner tonight. So let's see what happens at Hollywood, but you guys will be along for the ride with me. So here we go. All right, Wayfinders, so we are here at Animal Kingdom Lodge Jumbo House getting ready for our Jiko dining reservation. This is easily one of my top 3 favorite resorts on property. I'll include some B-roll to show you why, because right now where I currently am, where it's very loud, is a little like porch where you can look over the savannah that they have on resort property. Yes, there's animals that roam on resort property here. It's really cool to see. I don't know if any of them are out right now, but when they are, it's fun to watch. But obviously I'm super pumped about Jiko tonight. Jiko has been, was one of the restaurants that was closed due to COVID, and it was closed for a long time. It was closed for a couple of years, and it just reopened back in February. So I was stoked when I was able to land a dinner reservation. I have not been here since 2019, so I'm super excited to try it again, see if it still is as good as ever. This was my top meal on property until I had Le Cellier, and so we're gonna see if Jiko can reclaim its crown, because Le Cellier was really good, and I'm trying not to let nostalgia be a factor into this, but obviously Jiko holds a special place in my heart, so I'm excited for it. But waiting for early check-in so we can get started, get the ball rolling. But right now I'm just gonna hang out, relax, and I'll check in with you guys once we're eating and once we're done. All right, my friends, we are back at the hotel. So, Jiko, man, what a great experience again. I mean, it was so good to be back. I love that restaurant. That restaurant was one of the first, like, I think really upscale Disney dinners that I've ever done. Way back in 2019, me and my mom did a dinner there during Star Wars opening weekend, and I just have such vivid memories of that. And of course, I'm trying not to let nostalgia play too big of a factor into my review, because definitely while it holds a very special memory, like, I have to be fair for you guys, and so, but the ambiance of the restaurant is still 10 out of 10. My server, Emily, I'm telling y'all, I'm not just saying this because you know, I like Disney and I love coming here and love, you know, being on vacation here. I've genuinely had 3 really great servers this week, between Paul at Steakhouse 71, Alfred last night at Topolino's Terrace, and then Emily tonight at Jiko. I've truly had 3 of what I would consider to be the best servers that they've had, and not just with me. Hearing their other interactions with other guests was what kind of helped it to go a long way, because again, as a party of 1, I know I'm not going to get the same attention as other parties with more people. So, but they all took such good care of me while I was in their restaurants, and Emily did a great job tonight. She knew that menu in and out. She made sure I was taken care of from start to finish, so she was phenomenal. So shout out to Emily. I'll make sure she gets a cast compliment from us here at Disney My Way as well. Now, as for what I got, now this was tough because I really did want to get an appetizer, because one of my other favorite appetizers on property is at Jiko, which is the bison tenderloin, I believe is what is at Jiko. But as a single party, I could not warrant all that food, having both the tenderloin and then what I got for my main entree. So I decided to skip it. I was also thinking about doing the lady that led me to my table said that she loves the flatbread and the duck there. I was very tempted by that appetizer as well, but I decided to just go against that and just get an entree for this evening. So, with that being said, Jiko does offer some really good appetizers, especially that bison tenderloin is the one we had the last time, and I know that I remember that being really phenomenal. So their appetizers are pretty good from the reviews that I've seen before, and then just from my own personal experience, but I did not get one this time. Now, I did get bread service because that comes complimentary with the meal. Now, this bread service has changed since I was here in 2019. It's a different style of bread, and the bread that I got in 2019 actually came with like this like dipping like olive oil to put it in, and that bread service I remember being absolutely incredible, phenomenal. And this one was not necessarily bad, but it was not the same as the bread service they had before. So they brought out two different styles of bread. One was like a flat bread with some sesame seeds on it, and then the other one was a yeast roll, but they do something special too where they roll it back in a different type of, I can't remember what it is. I think it's a different kind of yeast where it actually makes it look like giraffe print on top of the bread. And, you know, it was not bad bread. I mean, it was definitely better than like the Topolino's bread that I had last night. But, I mean, the flatbread was probably my favorite of the two. But the yeast roll, you can pretty much get just about anywhere. Now, the butter that came with it, they had butter with a little like black sea salt or something like that on top of it. That was really good. I did enjoy that, and with that put on the flatbread was phenomenal. But I mean, honestly, the bread service though was not as big of a winner for me as the previous bread service was. If it was that previous bread service again, I can't remember what it was. So if somebody has been there before and can remember, you can leave me a comment down below. But the bread service from before was definitely much better than the bread service that I had this evening. It wasn't bad bread, it was not that same quality of bread that I had before, if that makes sense. Now for my entree, of course, I had to go with the thing that I've been thinking about ever since the last time I came to Jiko, which was the filet mignon. And this steak, I remember vividly from 3 years ago being so good. And so I got it again tonight, and it was still phenomenal. I mean, that steak was cooked really, really well all the way through. Somebody at a different table actually got, I think, the same thing and sent it back. So I don't know what happened like with hers, but mine was cooked perfectly all the way through. It was perfectly charred. Had this excellent wine sauce that was put on it. I mean, really, really good. I do think, while it's not a tough piece of meat to cut through, it was still super tender, super easy to cut through. I remember the last steak though being much easier to slide through. Like I almost could have cut it with my fork. This one was a little bit tougher, but still, I mean, one of the easiest steaks to cut that I've ever had. So that was really good. The sides have changed, and so now the steak actually comes with a 4-cheese mac and cheese as your side, along with rainbow cauliflower and a couple other little veggies thrown in there as well. And that mac and cheese was awesome. That mac and cheese definitely helped out, like, not to elevate this dish because that steak alone was really, really good, but that was an awesome side to have with the steak. I almost would have preferred just to get the mac and cheese almost, because it was that good, and I wished there was a little bit more of it actually. But you actually can though. You can get that mac and cheese as a spruced up extra. It's called the Babodi mac and cheese. It's actually a famous dish at Jiko where they actually put a little Wagyu steak on top, and then they put in a couple other things with the mac and cheese as well. I've heard that's really, really good. I have not had it personally, but if it's that same style mac and cheese though, with that little steak added in there, that might be something, if I ever go back again, that I end up getting. And I was considering doing that along with the appetizer to try to maybe get a little bit more of a balanced meal, but I really wanted to get that steak again because it'd been so long since I've had it. So overall, Jiko is still a really great restaurant. Now, for me, it's not going to overtake Le Cellier as my top meal. I was kind of surprised. I was kind of thinking with that mac and cheese now on the side it might, but look, I think the steak at Le Cellier is still one of the best that I've ever had, hands down. It just barely beats out this one just by a couple of hairs. But I mean, the steak you get at Le Cellier, I mean, you can practically eat it with a plastic fork, because I got one at Food and Wine in October, and with a plastic fork, I was almost able to cut through it. And so I still think Le Cellier has got it beat just by a little bit, but not by much. And I think that mushroom risotto that comes with the Le Cellier steak is also what kind of really helps it. And not that the steak is bad or that it needs anything extra, but I think it just adds a little bit more flair to the Le Cellier steak that the Jiko steak just doesn't necessarily have. But still, I think it's still great. I think Jiko is still a perfect meal to have if you're looking for something really nice and looking for something really good to have on your trip here. I mean, Jiko, you cannot go wrong with eating there. Now, I will say this too. Jiko is known for not really having great desserts. So if you're looking for a spot where you can go eat dessert at, Jiko's not really one that's known for having really awesome desserts. It's kind of sad because you can actually kind of walk down like just to the food court across the way called the Mara that's at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and you can actually get the zebra domes that they serve at Boma, and that's actually a much better dessert option than even what you can get at Jiko. So I skipped dessert for this one, but I've just heard they're not like anything to write home about. So, and which is kind of sad, because when you're paying so much money for a meal, because it's like $70 for just me, I would expect the dessert to be a little bit better. But that's also a problem across all Walt Disney World property, is that the sit-down restaurant desserts are not necessarily bad, but you can get so many other great treats and snacks from other places in the park. It's not really worth your time or your money to invest in a sit-down restaurant dessert, unless you have heard a review from either somebody else who covers Disney or food blog or something like that. Unless they tell you this dessert is a can't miss thing, honestly, skip dessert at a sit-down restaurant every time and then go grab yourself a snack or something better within the parks. You're gonna save a lot more money and you're gonna be a lot happier. Like last night when I went to Salt and Straw and got ice cream following my meal over at Topolino's. I don't regret the decision at all. I think that was a much better decision than getting a dessert at Topolino's, because A, it's much cheaper, and then B, it just worked out a lot better. I think I would have been much, much happier with that than any dessert they had on the menu. So that's just a PSA, you know, just from somebody who's been to a lot of these sit-down restaurants, from somebody who's talked to other people who've been to a lot of the sit-down restaurants here. That's just a little tip of advice when you're dining, is don't necessarily bank on the desserts here at the sit-down restaurants, because you're gonna end up a little bit disappointed. Now, kind of wrapping up the day too, and kind of the week, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't think I'm gonna be vlogging my last day, just because it's gonna be kind of weird. It's gonna be raining, it's gonna be a travel day, so I'm gonna be flying back home to Texas tomorrow. And so I'm not necessarily looking to have to carry around a camera all day and film things. So I'm probably just gonna take it easy. I've got Magic Kingdom, and I'm only really gonna be there to shop, do a couple quick things, and then I gotta get back here to pick up my bag and then get a lift back to the airport so I can go home. But kind of wrapping up today and the week. So today was obviously just a super fun day. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind again. I mean, just absolutely incredible. I even ran into another content creator. I'll leave a link to him and his wife's channel in the description below. But when I ran into him, we were talking right before it was my turn for the preview. He just gotten out of his preview. He was like, dude, that was crazy. Like, my mind is blown. Like, I cannot believe that ride. It's so good. And I got off and I thought the same thing. Phenomenal experience with the preview. It went a lot smoother than I expected it to. and it was just a phenomenal ride as well. So Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, if you guys are coming after next week, so it opens next Friday, May 27th. So if you guys are out here after that point, go ride Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult with the individual lightning lane and the virtual queue, but it's worth the investment of your time, I promise. So make sure to go ride that. And then obviously Jiko tonight for dinner was obviously a highlight. I mean, today was a super fun day. Super glad that this was the day that kind of was my last full day to kind of end the trip on and to end the vlogs with, because man, it was a lot of fun. This week's been a lot of fun as well. I mean, I've enjoyed every day this week. We did a Genie Plus challenge where I got to learn a lot about Genie Plus, how it works, and looking forward to future content that can be created from that moving forward. But I've had a really great week. I'm glad you guys have followed along with me. Thank you guys so much for your support. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the podcast, because I know these vlogs only really come out when I'm here, but the podcast comes out pretty much every single week. So make sure to check out the podcast. We'll be doing a more in-depth review of my trip on probably the next episode that we do, so be on the lookout for that. But other than that, it's been a great week. Again, thank you guys for following along, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again real soon.